We're back in the fabulous key of F, and the lesson continues. And what we're going to do, at least my little portion this afternoon, morning for you, Natalie, in New Zealand, is take the melody from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and work it into something a little bit more beautiful. Because imagine the lyrics, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Oh, it's wonderful. And the melody reflects it. But the first thing you have to do is what are the chords to Twinkle Twinkle? So it's, let's see, twinkle, twinkle, little star. So that's a B flat, that's the 4 chord. And then it goes back to the B flat. How I wonder, C7, F. So it's a 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1 tune. So we know the chords. So the melody will probably be hidden, or maybe not hidden, in those chords, the 1, the 4, and the 5. So let's see what the melody is first. It's 1, 1, 5, 5. That's a 5th note in the scale. Up to the 6th note, La. So then it simply walks down the scale. Then it goes back to the 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2. Then repeats the beginning for the end. 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. So now we have the chords, we have the melody, but you know, in any key, you can build a chord off any note of the scale. And these diatonic chords are chords of the major scale. The way they work is the 1 is a major chord. That's where we started, F. 2 is a minor chord, so this would be G minor would be the 2. The 3 would be A minor in this key. The 4, B flat, and the 5 is a C or C7. So those are I want to add in a couple of extra chords in here and look for the melody in those extra chords to brighten up, to polish the twinkle a little bit. And let's see how we can do that. So I'm going to use the G minor and the A minor and look for the melody in those chords to brighten up my twinkle. So I'm going to start on the F. Then instead of staying on the F, I'm going to lift up that index finger and play an A minor, but also play the C string, the C note on the 3rd fret, 1st string. So I'm going to go F. And why that sounds good is because that is the 5, that's the melody note. Now the next note is this 6, but the chord is B flat. So I don't have that high, it's up here. So I'm going to use the next inversion of B flat, which is an F shape, moved up and barring at the 5th fret, and then playing an F shape. So that chord is spelled 7, 5, 6, 5, but I don't need this note there. So I'm just going to play 5, 5, 6, 5, and the melody note is here. So it's going to sound like this. And then back to the A minor with the C. Then for the next melody note, that's right here. I could play that C. I'm going to play a G minor to make it like, oh, listen to that G minor. So here's what I've got so far. Back to the F, because that's the melody note on the 1st string open. C7, and that G, I could play it up here too, for the melody note to return home. So I'm just hunting for the melody notes in these chords. A minor, G minor, F, C7, back to the top. I can finger pick this a little bit too and do the fill, rolling like a forward roll, and the whole thing going from this to this.
So Jim, turn your hand, do your right hand again. So are you doing those all as rolls, or are you doing like a thumb downstroke?
They're basically just forward rolls.
Yeah.
So
now do the right, do the right hand so we see that.
yeah, 4, 2, 1 as far as the strings are.
Neat. Now I hear on that there's I hope I'm not frozen up.
You're not.
I hear when you get it. I would go, instead of going to that more straight, I would make that a 6, which would and lead up to that, because that 6 is really pretty. I'm really fond of 6 chords. So that's 3, 5, 3, 5.
It is nice. That's better.
That's a really pretty chord. Yeah, and then I would hear that instead of hearing it as a minor chord, I actually would hear that as a 6 with. So you've got the 6 in the bottom, so that would be 0, 2, 1, 1.
Right.
That would be fun.
Yes, you were frozen right at the end. Why don't you just play that first few chords with those substitutions, the B flat.
Let's see if I can do it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That just happened.
Yeah, it just happened.
Yes, you did.
Well, that's the last time I hang around with the greatest player in the world. Mess up my Twinkle segment.
No, man, your Twinkle segment is excellent, man. It's just, a few 6 chords are good.
Could you do that one more time? Because I really would like to see it one more time.
Really? Let's see. I hope I can do it one more time. I really did. Just happened to me. Down a half step. Sorry.
Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, I have to point out that is why I tell people, play your nursery rhymes, learn your nursery rhymes, because spontaneity will jump right out of the major scale. Look what it did to Del Rey just there. I mean,
well, and also, good point from Rhonda over here on the text. It's a wonderful world. That's exactly. That must be where that crept in. Da 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 da. Yeah.
You know what happened? I have to tell you a story. This is a good story, Del. I was at behind the counter at Artichoke Music in Portland, Oregon, probably about 2006, And my world internationally known now mandolin friend Brian Oberlin was working that day with me, and he's the same kind of when they talk about music, and he just goes crazy. He comes up to me, he's like all excited, Jim, hum the melody to Wonderful World. And I said, all right. And so I started humming it, and it hit me just like that. Why, they ripped off Twinkle. And so if you know Twinkle, all of a sudden you go, hey, da, 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 and then it changes right there to what you did. Your iHead player kicked in and said,
Yes.
I remember that. Oh, where is it? But see, your hands are familiar with every place to go. So that's why you could immediately do a wonderful lick like that. But that is just it's an amazing thing to sit with something simple and see what happens. And then the string goes even further. And you learned it yourself. It came from you organically, as opposed to sitting with a book, the sheet music of Wonderful World, and going, oh boy, I've got this.
Yeah, figuring out the absolute basic tunes that you know in your head and just putting them on the uke in different keys, that's always a good idea. You know, and also the secret is for songs with that minory feeling, like that one has, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is the earth tune. You can reduce any kind of dramatically emotional song to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and then every other song is shortening bread. That's all the other songs. So yeah, you could really do a reduction of almost any song. We'll do another workshop on that another time. Reducing any song to one of those two.
You know, I think that would
I
be
challenge you.
that would be a fabulous finale for next Saturday. So I'll make a note of that, a mental note, reducing songs down to their essence. I want to do one other thing here real quick, Del. I want to show the folks something that's going to be it may already be up on our website, but because we were talking about minor chords in a certain key, I want to show the folks this graph real quick. I'm going to share the screen in just a second. So I'm sharing this graphic.
Okay, I was just going to address this question from Lindell,
Okay.
which is the term chord melody is bandied about often. Is that what you're doing? And that is very much what we're doing, but it can get much more complicated than this. So this is one form of chord melody. It's not always a strum followed by the chords. It could be the chords playing out the melody without any strumming whatsoever. Anyway, go on, Jim.
So in any key, any major key, this is the structure of the chords. The 1 is a major chord, the 2 is based on a minor chord, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, 6 minor, and 7 diminished. So that's how I knew that in the key of F, I could also use G minor, A minor, and D minor, the relative minor of the key, to do something else, to make Twinkle a little bit more minory sounding. So I just want to share that. And I'll put this chart up on the Del and Jim Fingerpicking Facebook page. Okay.
Cool.